Number 8. Solomon's Key. This puzzle game was developed by Tecmo initially for the arcade in 1986. Tecmo as a publisher is responsible for titles like DOA and the Monster Rancher series. Another similar game that Tecmo produced was Mighty Bomb Jack. When you put these two titles together, it shows how regrettable it is that Tecmo isn't producing any more of these action puzzle games. So let's take a look at Solomon's Key.
Suddenly, everything has changed.
The actual Key of Solomon refers to a grimoire written in the Middle Ages. A grimoire being a book normally filled with magic spells and incantations for controlling demons. This particular one was written in the context that this was the book that the King Solomon used back in around 1000 BC in order to achieve his mythical status. In the game, Solomon's Key was a powerful book that was used to trap demons in a place called the Constellation World, which was filled with the signs of the zodiac. As is wont to happen in video games, someone disturbed this balance by opening Solomon's Key and releasing the demons. King Yucha from the Land of Fairies asks that your character, the wizard Dana, go to the Constellation World, save fairies, and collect Solomon's Key in order to restore the world to peace. As a port from the original 1986 arcade version, this game stays true to the simple but effective graphics. They aren't outstanding, but they're detailed enough to a specific point. This point being to take you out of the feel that you're playing a simple puzzle game, and that you're actually on some sort of adventure. As you progress through the levels, you'll see themes that change with the signs of the zodiac, but not much else. The enemies, backgrounds, and sprites are repeated throughout the game. I'm of the belief that if you produce a difficult game, puzzle or no, you'd better have good music throughout, or else the player is going to get frustrated pretty quickly and put the game down. The NES version has a single tune throughout, but fortunately it's a good one. Short, but instantly memorable and melodic.
Track number 1. This is CD number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4.
At the very least, puzzle games should have a good Henny component to them, and this game definitely has that in spades. The object of each level is to get a key which opens the exit. You've also got some ancillary goals. You can grab bells which allow you to rescue the fairies, and every so often, you'll see a symbol of the zodiac. Collect these and you'll have access to some of the secret levels of the game. Dana, as a wizard, has very few abilities for you to exploit, but they're good ones. He can conjure up fireballs if you happen to collect one of the very few scattered throughout the game, but his main talent is making and destroying blocks wherever he wants. It's a great gameplay mechanic because it leads us to another great component of this puzzle game. You essentially have the ability to move around wherever you want, and this gives you the feeling that any level can be completed in a variety of ways if any particular one seems to be failing you. Another component that really lends the game its challenge is the execution of your strategies. Dana is slow. Really slow. Pretty much any enemy in the game can outrun him, and even his abilities and jumps seem a little on the laggy side. This doesn't really deter from the gameplay though, it just means you have to be much more deliberate in your movements. Even though this game was released earlier in the arcades and then on seemingly every platform known to man subsequently, it still was never popular no matter how well received it was. It did have a little sequel in 1991 for the original Game Boy called Solomon's Club. Here, Dana was being trained by Solomon in his dungeons. It's surprising that there aren't more sequels because it's actually a fun game. It also had a prequel that came out in 1993 for the NES called Fire and Ice, which chronicled Dana as an apprentice wizard on the Cool Mint Island. Certainly a drastic change in tone, in the sense that this game sucked.
Test begins.
Tecmo has gotten away from puzzle games, but this one they produced certainly makes up for some of that. Solomon's Key has incredibly compelling gameplay backed by a learning curve that allows you to get a feel for the game and keeps the challenge quotient high. It's rare that you feel like you're just going through the motions, or on the other hand, frustrated. The thing about great puzzle games like this is that they never grow old. The addicting, mind-bending gameplay is just as fun as it was when it came out. So up next, number 7.